Hey there, folks. Thanks for joining me in this latest entry in the Skyrim mod log. In this and subsequent videos in the series, I'll break down each setting, configuration, and mod replacement change I prefer to ensure an enjoyable play experience. Future videos will build off previous videos in chronological order. This particular video will address a fun Skyrim modding topic: how to handle updating curated mod lists without losing the work that I put into customizing it since the last release. The typical outcome of installing a new modlist version over the top of a previously customized version is that a lot of the work to customize the original install will be undone. There are several methods of avoiding such an occurrence, but I thought today I'd show you how I go about updating my mod list to new versions, while maintaining most of the customization changes I've made since the last release. I realize this video may come across as highly conceptual, but it's a common enough topic that for completeness of narrative, I thought I should add it to this video series before further demonstrating the mod changes I like to make. When an update to a mod list drops, I'll start by preparing a new set of folders to house the new source and install files. I'll double-click this PC on the desktop, right-click on the F drive, and then click Open in New Window. I'll right-click in the root of the F drive, click New, and then Folder. I'll follow the same nomenclature I've used in past videos and name this new folder Eldergleam Mod Source Files New, and then click Enter. This folder will contain all of the new mod source files that are downloaded from Wabbajack. Next, I'll switch back over to the other Explorer window, double-click the D drive, right-click, create a new folder, name the folder Skyrim Eldergleam New, and click Enter. This folder will contain the new install and ModOrganizer instance. Just because a mod list is updated doesn't mean that a substantial number of the source mod files have been updated. Most of the time, almost none of the source mod files will have been updated. Because of this, I like to start a new mod list download by utilizing all of the existing mod files I already have, and then let Wabbajack sort out if they are the right versions or not. If they aren't, the correct installation packages will be retrieved. In the F drive Explorer window, I'll double-click the Eldergleam Mod Source Files folder. These are all of the source files that were used to install the previous version of Eldergleam. My strategy is never to mess with the files that are exactly right for a mod list to install. So I'll click Ctrl+A on the keyboard to select all of these files, click Ctrl+C on the keyboard to copy these files, click the back button to navigate back to the F drive, click into the Eldergleam Mod Source Files New folder, and finally click Ctrl+V to copy all of the previously used Eldergleam mod install files into this new directory. Once the files are done copying, I like to click into the Explorer window search box, type star.meta, click Ctrl+A to select all of the found files, right-click, and then click Delete. This gives me confidence that the new mod list install through Wabbajack will create and use new meta files as part of its hashing and file copy operations. With the delete complete, I'll click the back button twice to return to the root of the F drive. Next, I'll open a browser, search for Skyrim Eldergleam, click into the Nexus Mods page, click the Files tab, click the Manual Download button, click the Download button, select the desktop as the save destination, and then click the Save button. After the zip file has finished downloading, I'll close the browser window. Next, I'll double-click the zip archive on the desktop, drag the Wabbajack file to the desktop, and close the zip archive window. The next step is to get Wabbajack open. I'll double-click this PC on the desktop, navigate to the E drive, into the Wabbajack folder, into the 3271 folder, and scroll over to and double-click the wabbajack.exe file. In this particular case, the Eldergleam file name is the same as the previously installed version, so Wabbajack has maintained the target mod list selection. I'll click the ellipsis to the right of the mod list installation location text field, click the D drive in the quick access pane, double-click into the Skyrim Eldergleam New folder, and click the Select Folder button. Now I'll click the ellipsis to the right of the resource download location text field, navigate to the F drive, double-click into the Eldergleam Mod Source Files New folder, and then click the Select Folder button. We're all set for the install, so I'll click the greenish-blue play button in the lower right corner of Wabbajack. After hashing the existing files we copied from the previous install directory, there are only 8 files that need to be re-downloaded. After a short period of downloading those mismatched files, the Modlist install begins. The install process takes about 20 minutes, but after copying the final set of files and building the BSAs, Wabbajack informs us the install is complete. But not before irritatingly reopening the mod page in a browser. I'll close the browser window since I have no need for it at this time. Now I'll click the close button in the lower right corner of Wabbajack, and we're ready to proceed to the next step. To maintain cleanliness, I'll delete the Modlist zip file and the extracted Wabbajack file from the desktop and clear the recycle bin. Next, I'll double-click into the Skyrim Eldergleam new folder in the D Drive Explorer window, right-click and hold on modorganizer.exe, drag and let go in the same folder, and then click Create Shortcuts here. Now I'll rename the ModOrganizer shortcut to read New ModOrganizer and click Enter. I'll right-click on the new shortcut and click Properties. In the shortcut target text field, I'll place the mouse cursor at the end of the line, click the spacebar, and then enter dash, dash, and the word multiple. This makes it possible to run multiple instances of ModOrganizer at the same time. With the shortcut edited, I'll drag it to the desktop and place it in close proximity to my existing ModOrganizer shortcut. For now, I'm going to navigate back to the root of the D drive. To get my working files prepped, I'll double-click the old ModOrganizer shortcut to open the application. If you've watched or followed along thus far in my mod log, you're probably aware of how I created the sudo overwrite mods at the bottom of the load order and prefixed them with the bracket no-delete bracket tag. However, when I installed the matter of time and settings loader, I did not prefix them with the no-delete tag. I intentionally left that out in the last video in preparation for highlighting how important it is to do that in this video. To rename a mod in ModOrganizer, I'll right-click the matter of time entry in the mod list, click Rename Mod, and add bracket no delete bracket at the beginning of the name. I'll do the same thing for the settings loader mod directly below. Doing this ensures that all of the modifications I've made thus far to the mod list are categorized with the no delete tag. I'll scrunch down the application window so I can see the new ModOrganizer shortcut, and double-click it to open the new ModOrganizer instance. On the NXM link registration message, I'll once again click No, Don't Ask Again. To keep things a little neater throughout this process, I'll leave the theme of the new ModOrganizer version as it is for now. From this point forward, my goal is to get the mods I've added from the previous Modlist install into the new Modlist install while causing as little collateral damage as possible. In the new ModOrganizer instance, I'll click the Create Backup button to the top left of the mod list. This creates an itemized, text-based backup of the current load order. At the bottom of the window, we see the message Backup of Modlist created. Now I'll click over to the old ModOrganizer instance and click the same button. Again, we see the Backup Created message at the bottom of the window. Before I proceed with the merging of the mod lists, I'll click back over to the new ModOrganizer instance, make sure SKSE is present in the dropdown, and click the Run button to launch the game. Once in the main menu, I'll click the New Game button, skip the intro, create a throwaway character named Prisoner, and we're ready to set off on a new adventure. One thing we can see pretty quickly is that the Matter of Time mod is certainly not loaded, and frankly we shouldn't expect it to since this is the updated install of the Eldergleam mod list. I'll click Escape on the keyboard, click Quit, and then quit to desktop. By launching the game once, we now have confidence that it works, prior to getting jiggy with the config files. Back in new ModOrganizer, we see the customary notification warnings that new overwrite files exist, because the sudo mods I created previously in the series aren't present in the new ModOrganizer's mod list. I'll right-click the overwrite entry at the bottom of the mod list, click Clear Overwrite, and OK to confirm. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and close the new ModOrganizer application instance and minimize the older instance. The first step is to click into the D Drive Explorer window, double-click the Skyrim Eldergleam folder, double-click the Profiles folder, and into the Eldergleam NG folder. The modlist text file is the backup from the version of Eldergleam we are upgrading from. I'll move this file to the desktop and rename it from.txt, and click Yes on the confirmation message. By giving the file a proper .txt extension, we can open the file and see its contents while working on it. I'll click the back button twice to get back to the root of the D drive. Next, I'll double-click into the Skyrim Eldergleam new folder, into the Profiles folder, into the Eldergleam NG folder, and move the modlist text file to the desktop as well. This modlist file is the one we are upgrading to. To give this file a simpler name as well, I'll rename it to.txt and click Yes on the confirmation window. We aren't going to need the F-Drive Explorer window any longer, so I'll go ahead and close it. I'll click the back button twice in the remaining Explorer window to get back to the Skyrim Eldergleam new folder. Here, I'll right-click on the mods folder and click Open in New Window. These mod files are those that belong to the new ModOrganizer instance. In the Skyrim Eldergleam New Explorer window, I'll click the back button once and then double-click into the Skyrim Eldergleam folder and then into the mods folder. These are the installed mods for the version we are upgrading from. We can quickly see one of the reasons I like the no delete tag on mod names. Everything I've done is easily accessible at the front of the folder listing. Now I'll select all of the no delete folders, right-click, hold and drag the folders to the new Eldergleam mods folder, release the mouse button, and click copy here. Now the mods I added and customized have been copied to the new ModOrganizer instance. If we were to open the new ModOrganizer at this point, these mods would appear at the bottom of the mod list, but they will have lost their load order from the installation we are migrating from. We're done with both Explorer windows for now, so I'll minimize both. From the secondary monitor, I'll copy over a simple app I wrote to help me also migrate the mod list order from the version I'm upgrading from. I'll quickly open the from.txt file and the to.txt file to highlight the obvious differences. We can see in the from file that my customized mods are present at the top of the file, which means at the end of the mod list, and there are no such entries in the to.txt file, which was exported from the Eldergleam version we are migrating to. I don't actually need these files open, so I'll go ahead and close them both. I'll now click on the modlist merger.exe file and explain what's happening behind the scenes. Bear in mind that when I create simple little scripts like this, I don't prefer to just do everything silently and spit out some output, but rather iteratively monitor the steps to make sure the right things are happening. This is why you'll hear me say, click Close to continue, since closing the results windows is what causes the application to proceed to the next step. I'll double-click the application exe to start it. The first step will read the full contents of the from.txt file into an array. At the top, we can see my customized mods, and the plus sign, which indicates that they were enabled in the old ModOrganizer instance from which the backup was exported. We can also see at the bottom of the window that there are 1,674 lines in this file. I'll click the Close button to continue. The array contents are now reversed, which is the actual mod list loading order as far as ModOrganizer is concerned. Close to continue. The array contents are now scanned, and the element location of the ModOrganizer header line is found, and that element is completely removed from the array. We can double check this by scrolling down to the bottom of the array. Additionally, the total array length is now 1,673 since we removed the header line. Close to continue. The from array is scanned for any element entry that contains the partial string match bracket no delete bracket, and the line entries with my custom mods are transferred to another array that we can see here is 11 elements in length. These 11 elements comprise the 2 mods we've installed and the 9 pseudo mods we created to handle overwrite files. Close to continue. The to.txt file, which comprises all of the mods from the new instance of ModOrganizer, is read into another array. Close to continue. The to modlist array is reversed, backwards like Judas Priest first did, so it now also matches the actual modlist load order. Close to continue. The ModOrganizer header line is found within the to modlist array and deleted. Close to continue. Here, I gathered some information on the various arrays in play and make a determination on how to calculate the final merged array length. The really short version of the logic is, I determine which array has more elements, the from or the to array, calculate the number of customized mods that need transferring, add a small buffer amount just in case, and quantify the length of the final array with some basic addition. In this case, I'll use the mod list from the older ModOrganizer instance, add 11 elements to account for my custom mods, and the final array will have 1,684 elements in total. Click OK to continue. A blank array of 1,684 elements is created, and I can scroll up and down to validate the correct number of elements are present and that they are all blank. Close to continue. The exact position of my customized mods from the old ModOrganizer instance are transferred into the merged mod list array first. I'll scroll down to the 300 line range and see my matter of time and settings add-on mods listed where they should be, and then scroll to the very bottom and there are my pseudo mods. What you'll also notice is that I've flipped the active bit from a plus to a minus, which means that when the mods are brought over into the new instance, they are all disabled by default. Close to continue. Every mod that is part of the new mod list will now be added sequentially into the merged array in their curated order by the mod list author. If it isn't obvious, my strategy for this kind of operation is to prefer my mod order to any new mod order that might be the result of the mod author's placement. However, by disabling my mods that are being transferred by default, there really isn't any damage that can occur, at least as far as I know. Close to continue. Lastly, the merged mod list array has any blank buffer lines deleted. Close to continue. This is now the final merged mod list array with all blanks removed, my preferred mod order maintained, and ready to be written to file. Close to continue. The array is now written out to a text file, which we can open and scan for any grave miscalculations, and when satisfied, I'll close the notepad window. With the merged mod list generated, I'll right-click the file on the desktop and name the file import_this_file and click yes on the confirmation. I'll reposition the icon, right-click the icon, and then click copy. The file is now prepared, so I'll click back into the Skyrim Eldergleam New Explorer window, click up on the directory level, double-click into the Profiles folder, into the Eldergleam NG folder, right-click, and then paste. I'll restore the old instance of ModOrganizer, and double-click the new ModOrganizer shortcut on the desktop. Once the app loads, I'll scroll to the bottom of the mod list, and we can see the no delete mods are all present at the bottom of the list. We're seeing these entries because of the folders we copied in a previous step, but the load order still needs to be fixed. Next, I'll click the Restore Backup button and cotton-headed ninny boppins. There aren't any backup files to restore. This is because there is a defined format that the backup and restore files must follow to be recognized by ModOrganizer. I'll click back over to the appropriate Explorer window, right-click the file to be imported, rename, and set the name as modlist.text.my_merged_modlist, and then click enter. Now if we come back to ModOrganizer, click the Restore Backup button, the modified file is listed. I'll click the file to restore it, and after a brief thinking timeout, ModOrganizer will reorder the list. I'll scroll to the bottom of the list, and as expected, a common foible of this method is that some of the final few mods that were previously in the list have been moved inside of my imported pseudo output mod separator. I'll select the 5 affected mods and move them back into their intended location, which is the FWMF map separator. Next, I'll scroll up to the UI and HUD section where the Matter of Time mods are, and with the old instance of ModOrganizer still open behind this one, I can see that I need to do some slight reordering by dragging the 2 mods to the bottom of the separator. Since Matter of Time has a corresponding ESP, I'll click into the Plugins tab, observe that the ESP is not yet listed, activate the mod in the mod list, which causes the ESP to show up at the bottom. Lastly, I'll check to activate the Settings add-on mod as well. Since I forgot to do it just a second ago, I'll scroll back down to the output mods, check to activate all of them, and now we're ready to roll. I keep a relatively detailed inventory of mods that I enable and how I configure them, but thankfully we haven't gotten very far in my modlog video series, so there's only a couple of things I need to uncheck to truly get back to where I was. First, I'll search for Menu Replacer and disable the Eldergleam Menu Replacer in section 6.3. Next, I'll search for Quick Loot and disable Quick Loot EE, which is in section 6, UI and HUD. With my list imported, I'll click the Run button in the upper right corner of ModOrganizer. I'll start a new game, click to skip the intro, name a throwaway character Prisoner, and much to my delight, I can see my custom mods and their configurations have loaded. Like a dunce hat, I failed to record footage past this point, so I'm unable to show you how there were no new override entries in the new instance of ModOrganizer. But, take my word for it, there weren't. That's going to do it for this video. It's only fitting to end this segment by saying that this process does occasionally encounter some turbulence in rare cases, but I've now used it to persist customizations across several different Modlist version upgrades. I've not yet decided how I'm going to make this simple script available, as I'd like to simplify parts of it to make it more accessible, similar to how I did the anniversary content checker in a previous video. As I mentioned at the beginning, there's a few different ways to achieve what I showed today, but since none of those options were to the level of crude and dirty that I could feel good about utilizing, I was determined to make my own way. Obviously, the example today, with only a couple of mods, is very simple, but I followed the same process for a mod list with more than 100 modifications. It just took a little more time to verify the final order. In total, I think I invested 15 minutes or so on the validation of that mod list import that had about 115 changes. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration. Thanks for watching, and out.